I saved her.
Hey everyone, it's RetroLooker, and today we are going to be talking about The Last of Us HBO Season 2 trailer that was dropped last night. Now, this was a complete surprise. I was, shocked. A regular Sunday night, and here is the new Last of Us trailer. Everyone went absolutely crazy, and rightly so. And it's very quick. It's only 30 seconds long, and they've packed an awful lot into that short 30-second trailer. So we're going to be talking about it. We're going to be talking about the iconic scenes from the trailer that are transferred over from the game and what we think is happening and predictions and things like that. So let's get right into it, shall we?
Did you hurt her? Then what? What did you do?
I saved her.
So the trailer opens up with one of the most iconic scenes from the game, and it is, of course, the party scene. And from the game to the HBO, it is literally shot for shot perfect. We pan up from the back of Ellie's head to see the beautiful set that they've done a fantastic job on. This is obviously the party where Ellie gets mad at Joel and she falls out with the bigoted guy. I can't remember his name. And he offers her bigot sandwiches, you remember. Seth, there you go. It's been a while since I've played part 2. Yeah, Seth is a little drunk and calls out Ellie and Dina, and Joel steps in. Ellie gets mad at Joel, and they don't talk because she's still mad at him. So that is a super iconic scene from the game. We start off with a little gentle bit of music. I think for the most part they're going to stick quite authentic to the game for parts like this. But here's where it gets interesting, because there are going to be parts that stray from the game, and here is where. So after the party scene, we see a little shot of Ellie's tattoo. Now, I believe this is where Ellie and Dina first get together. They're in Eugene's bunker, and they're sad, and they're talking about scars and things like that. And Ellie confesses to Dina and tells her the truth, and she thinks she's completely joking and plays it off as a prank. And then, the rest happens. So we then see that little shot. Nice little easing it in with the iconic scenes. Then we see Catherine O'Hara, and she says, "Did you hurt her?" Joel replies, "No." "What did you do?"
What did you do?
Now, this in the game is a line that was reserved for Tommy. You remember at the start of the game, Tommy and Joel are sat and they're talking, and Tommy's like, "Joel, what did you do?" And he's like, "I saved her. I stopped them." I can't remember the exact line. But this is super iconic, and I've got goosebumps just talking about it because it's so iconic. But in this, we have Catherine O'Hara, and her character hasn't yet been revealed. We don't know who that is. And immediately my brain went, "Oh, cool, that's Maria." And I was like, no, it's not Maria. Maria was in Season 1, and they changed her race for the HBO. She was white in the game. So this is where it gets interesting. I think Catherine O'Hara is playing Joel's girlfriend. Now, the reason behind me thinking this, in the game originally, Neil Druckmann said we gave Joel a girlfriend, but there wasn't enough time to explore it and give him that storyline and give her the screen time she deserved before the events of part 2, and then it get lost in, But that would have been lovely, and people really wanted that, and I think they've listened to that, and like the Bill and Frank story, they have gone down a different tangent. So I think they give Joel a girlfriend. Enter Catherine O'Hara. So he is sat confessing to her what happened. And although she seemed quite hard-faced, and she was quite, almost like he was being told off or interviewed. My first theory is, is this maybe Joel's therapist? Why would you need therapists in the apocalypse, But Jackson Community is trying to rebuild a modern, working, functioning society, so why would they not have things like therapists and police officers and things like that? So that is my theory. I think that is Joel's girlfriend, and we are hopefully going to have an episode just where we explored their relationship, and Joel talks about what happened and what he did in season 1 of the HBO. So that is my theory on that. Even though she seemed quite hard-faced, I think that's going to be Joel's girlfriend. So the next shot in the trailer is of Ellie screaming. Now, this was really interesting because I don't remember something like this from the game, but I have a theory again. I'm full of theories. It seemed like quite a hospital setting, but I don't think it was like a flashback from part 1. I think this is where they chemical burn Ellie's arm. So we've seen the tattoo to cover up the chemical burn, to cover up the bite. I think we get an in-depth look, and I always thought this would be interesting to do in the game, because we saw she sat with a bandage on her arm. She told Dina, oh, this was a chemical burn, it was to cover up the bite. I think we get to see the brutality of, we need to burn this with chemicals to cover up the fact you've been bitten and are immune. So I think that scene is going to be really powerful. If I'm right, I might be wrong. It might be a flashback to the Firefly Hospital, but she was unconscious, so on. I don't think they, from what we know, I think they're going to chemical burn her arm, and I think it's going to be absolutely brutal. It's going to kill, and there's going to be a lot of raw emotion in that scene. So the next shot we see is Tommy with his rifle. Tommy is great with a rifle, we know this. I think this is when they're at it's either when they're at the ski lodge and they're fighting off the runners who are coming to Abby and friends and Joel and Tommy, or from the next shot we see a bunch of runners running at what we can assume is Jackson because of the wooden post walls. So I reckon Jackson gets attacked, which I don't think we saw. We didn't see that in series 1. If you remember, when Joel and Tommy first get reunited, they get attacked and Joel has to help them fend this off. They didn't do that in season 1, but I think they may replace that in season 2, that they're just living their lives, then they get attacked by either zombies or hunters, marauders, whatever you want to call them. And I think we're going to see just a little filler of them being attacked and defending themselves and things like that. But there is a lot of snow, and when there is snow, we know bad things happen, and the ski lodge incident and all that. So it's either at the ski lodge and they're fighting off runners, or they're at Jackson and they're fighting off infected or an attack. We then see a quick shot, and this is the only shot we see in the trailer, of the Seraphites, of the scars. And they've done a fantastic job with the costume and makeup for these guys, because they're a brutal faction. And we're going to see a lot of that. I hope we see a lot of that, because in the game we did not explore enough of the Seraphites, or the Prophet, or her story, or things like that. So I hope we get to see a bit more of that. And this bit in the trailer, they're surrounded by ferns and they're in the woods at night. So this is obviously where Ellie first meets the scars, takes the arrow to the shoulder, and they're hunting her. So I think that scene in particular will be very good. We then see a shot of Dina, and she's holding up a lantern, and she looks quite upset. Now, I reckon this is in the underground, near where we see the Shambler, and everything's very red, and I think this will be the moment where Ellie's mask breaks, and Dina will lift up her light and notice that Ellie's mask is broken, and she's very upset, and you know what I mean? She knows she's done for, but she's not. That's just my opinion. This might be a completely different scene, but this is what triggered the thought in my mind. Hey, that looks where Ellie's mask broken. Dina freaks out, but she was not wearing a mask herself, so I don't know. Time will tell on that one, but I'm just trying to piece together what I recognise and what I don't recognise, and theories on the things I don't recognise and what I think they'll put in. But Dina seemed quite upset in that moment, so that could be a number of things. If you have an opinion on it though, I would love to hear what came to your mind in these scenes. We then see a brief shot of, and it's very brief, it's only like a second long, of Ellie shooting a machine gun while running away. Now, it doesn't give too much away, but we do see other shots similar to this as well. I reckon this is when they're in the underground again, and they're running away from the infected and fighting for their lives. I think that is just a scene like that. I could be wrong, it could be another chase scene that they put in, but that's what brought to my mind, because we do then see another couple of shots very similar. We then have a nice panning shot of the snowy mountains, which I think is literally just going to be an opening shot, either of Jackson or our introduction to the ski lodge. It's just a nice scenic shot. Part 1, season 1 was full of shots like this, so I'm not surprised that they've gone out their way to show the scenery in the way that they've done. We then see Isaac for the first time. Now, we only see Isaac for a brief second, and again in part 2, we do not explore his story enough. When I was playing the game, I had so many theories about the Prophet and Isaac and stuff like that, but we just didn't get to explore their story too much. So, we see Isaac, and it is a very aggressive, very brutal look at him. He is pulling the trigger of a gun. I reckon this is at the WLF HQ, where he's torturing that guy for information. This is probably the end of that process. I could be wrong, he could be shooting someone else, but that's what I think from that, because it's inside, it's not at night, it's not raining, it's not outside. I reckon that is in some form of bathroom where they're torturing someone for information. We then see, and this is the only shot we see, and it's only a brief second, but we see Abby. This is Caitlin Denver, and she is doing a very iconic thing again. This is just before she meets Joel. She's crawling under a chain link fence, and the chain link fence has fallen on her, it's snowing, there are runners and clickers trying to grab at her, and she is crawling out, and then we see Joel, not in the trailer, but in the game we see Joel give her a hand and say, "Let's go." That is a powerful scene, and that is a powerful 1-second clip to include in the trailer, and fans of the game will recognise it immediately. We then see a brief half-second clip of 2 horses riding away from the camera in the snow. We can assume this is Joel and Tommy, or it could be Ellie and Dina, but this could be Joel and Tommy on the horses going back to the ski lodge. This could be Ellie and Dina going to the ski lodge after Tommy and Joel. We then see a brief shot of Ellie running away from the camera looking scared, followed by a shot of a clicker behind a subway door. So this is obviously in the underground where everything is very red and they're running away and fighting for their lives. These scenes will be fantastic and action-packed, and I can't wait to see the Shamblers. We then close out to Joel looking very in the moment and upset, and he says, "I saved her."
I saved her.
And a tear trickles down his cheek as he's talking to Catherine O'Hara, possibly his girlfriend. And this is just so powerful. And like I said, it's a 30-second trailer, and they have action-packed, so much information, so many clips, so many different pivotal moments in the game. But they've done a fantastic job at drawing us in and keeping us on the edge of our seats off a 30-second trailer. And I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any theories, either about what we saw in the trailer or what we're going to see in the show, or what we aren't going to see in the show, I would love to hear them down in the comments. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I will catch you later.